All right. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our very last luncheon for GGRA for the month of November, but this is our last one for the year. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We are so honored that you all are here. I tell you, this has been a year. I am telling you, but we are getting through it. Praise God. And thank you so much just for being alongside of us. And I always like to start off before we go any further with a prayer. So bow your heads with me. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, I thank you for this time that you've given us today to be here, Lord, on this Thursday. Thank you that we woke up in your presence, Lord, and everything that we do on this Zoom and this lunching brings you honor, glory, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Wow. Well, again, thank you guys for joining us. And before I go any further, I always want to give a special thanks to my executive committee for being here with me. Couldn't do anything without any of you. First, thank you so much to our vice president, Mr. Brendan Spar. He's also the producer for all of our luncheons, especially on this Zoom presentations, and then also for our treasurer. Thank you so much just for being here. Also, Mr. Taylor, we couldn't do it without you. And thank you so much for our secretary. Thank you so much, Miss Antoinette Fields, for being exactly the person that we need in these times. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Well, again, this has been a year for us, and we've had to make some modifications as everyone else have done throughout this. I'll go ahead on and call it this COVID year. But we're still here. We're still here to God's glory, and we're just going to keep on moving forward. So, again, for all our partners and all of the organizations that partner with us, thank you guys for being a part of what we do and allowing us to be a part of what you do. Thank you for our to our members, and then also any new members that we have. We're still here. Thank you so much, and we want to welcome everyone that is here for their first time. Thank you guys for coming. So at this time, I would like to bring up our wonderful partners and their organizations to enlighten us on anything that they have going on that's new or anything important that they want us to know. So at this time, do we have any of our reentry organizations that would like to share with the members? All right, Miss Amanda. Miss Amanda.
Hi.
Come on, how are you?
Good, thank you. Hi, Lorenzo. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Stripmatter with Navigate Recovery Gwinnett. And I basically wanted to share that one of the things that we're doing now in partnership with Georgia Overdose Prevention and the Gwinnett Health Department, we are doing Narcan training, and we have specific days that we're doing this. But if your organization or you are someone who comes in contact with someone who's at a high risk of, an opioid overdose, just let us know. We can get you trained and armed with Narcan for free, basically. So we're doing this, and I can put some information in the chat, but usually the second and fourth Saturdays. But again, whenever we can do it at any time. If you feel like you need it or you know someone who does, just contact me. So I'll put some information in there. But I just wanted to share that because that's been a really positive thing. And we've been able to train and distribute a good bit of Narcan to people who could use it as a life-saving possibility. So just wanted to share that.
Okay, and thank you so much for that. And I just want to personally thank you on behalf of GGRA just for the tireless work that you guys do over there. You're always boots to the ground, and we're just grateful for everything that you do.
Thank you, Lorenzo. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for you guys too. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay. Did I see another hand go up there? Who do we have? Okay, let's see. Anybody else? Anybody else? Come on, this is our last one for the year. We need to hear from our wonderful organizations. Come on, somebody. Let me hear something from you. Oh, you want to be shy, huh?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm new to the organization. I was just invited today and I was listening and looking at all the programs, and I have experience in reentry, uh, working in preventive law enforcement and in the community. And I'm just trying to really figure out, this is really great. I never knew something like this even existed. Uh, I'm just overwhelmed because this is great work. I mean, when anybody commits to it, and then we started off with a prayer, letting us know we've been leading, and we got good leadership, and we're going in the right direction. And all the diversity that I'm seeing that's on the screen and stuff is just really wonderful. And I just want to commend you, and I want to try to stay hooked into this.
Well, amen, brother Lazarus, correct?
Lysanias.
I'm so sorry, Lysanias. Well, welcome for you being here. It is our pleasure to have you on. And how did you hear about us? Oh,
I heard from the Department of Labor.
Okay, great. Well, we'll definitely have some more information for you, and we have a question and answering session a little bit later if there's anything else you want to know, and you can reach out to other wonderful organizations, and you can also go to our website at the Greater Gwinnett Reentry Alliance.
Okay, and thank you for the time. You go right ahead with your agenda. I just wanted to get in there while it was just a break.
No problem. Glad to have you. Do we have any other reentry organizations that would like to update us on some things that's going on? Okay, going once, going twice, gone. Okay, let's see, training. All right. Well, so now at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our vice president to have some things he wants to share of some upcoming things that we have going on. Brandon, are you there? You're muted.
Yes, I'm the one that gave everybody instructions on how to unmute, and I couldn't figure it out. How about that? Okay, so I guess the next topic on the agenda is to thank our elected officials. It is too early to tell for a lot of the state House and Senate races. I think there's 6,000 votes still outstanding, but we do have two definitive candidates that have won here in Gwinnett. We want to start by thanking Chief Lou Solis for all the work that he's done for reentry in Gwinnett County over the many years under the leadership of Butch Conway. So thank you very much, Chief Solis, for all the hard work that you put into reentry. And without some of the initiatives that Butch Conway and Chief Solis have put forward, we probably wouldn't be here right now. We definitely wouldn't be in the sheriff's office having our meetings every month. So I want to really thank Chief Solis for that. Now moving on, we want to congratulate the elected officials that we know about who have already taken a victory lap, if you will. They've won by enough votes that the 6,000 outstanding aren't going to make a difference. We want to first welcome Sheriff-elect Kibo Taylor. He is the first African-American sheriff-elect in Gwinnett County. And want to really welcome Sheriff-elect Taylor. Also want to welcome Patsy Austin Gatson, our new district attorney-elect. She will be taking over from Danny Porter here in January. So both candidates want to welcome them. And also we didn't get a chance to congratulate or welcome Judge Deborah Fluker for the Superior Court judge who won earlier this year in the nonpartisan race. So welcome to all of our new elected officials, and I'm sure there will be some more changes that will be coming down once the election is certified next week. So congratulations to everyone.
Great, and thank you so much for that. And I also just wanted to give a thanks to everyone that, as Brandon just mentioned, those that have served us well over the years in their positions, and then those that are coming behind them to just carry the torch on even further. We thank each and every one of you for what you've done and then also what you will do. So you have our support, and again, we thank you for stepping up in these times. These are unique times, and so I think that this is going to be a wonderful step moving forward. So thank you all for everything that you do.
And Lorenzo, before we move forward, I think Abe Holland has an announcement about the CARES Act assistance.
Okay. Go right ahead, Mr. Holland. Are you there? Abe, are you there? Is he on mute?
He's unmuted. Go ahead, Abe.
Abe,
we can come back to him later in the program.
All right, well, then I'll bring you back up just to talk about our movie night.
Okay. So this is an exciting opportunity for GGRA. Because of the movie theaters being shut down, AMC is looking to get people back to the movies. And we've partnered with AMC before to do the Brian Banks film. And they came to us again and said, would you like to do another movie night? And we thought, well, you know, what's out there reentry wise? We've already done Brian Banks and Just Mercy. There was a screening for, so we've kind of exhausted all the reentry films. And they said, what about this film starring Liam Neeson called Honest Thief? And we watched the trailer, the board did. And let me give you a rundown of the synopsis of this film. It says, hoping to cut a deal, a professional bank robber agrees to return all the money he stole in exchange for a reduced sentence. But when two FBI agents set him up for murder, he must now go on the run to clear his name and bring them to justice. So when we heard that synopsis and watched the trailer that you're about to see in a second, we thought this is an awesome movie with a great message that we need to be sharing with returning citizens. So what GGRA has partnered with AMC Colonial 18 to do is open up one of their auditoriums for about 16 returning citizens to come in, socially distanced. It'll be an entire auditorium with just 16 people in it. We'll give it away free to returning citizens to allow them to go out to the movies, which many of us haven't been to a movie since March. So this will be a great opportunity. We want to partner with the reentry organizations to get returning citizens out to the movies. So if you have anyone in mind that is a returning citizen and you want to extend the invitation to them, feel free to let us know in the chat, or you can email info@GwinnettReentry.org, and we will set you up with tickets for that. We don't have a date yet. We're thinking about the week of November 16th, which is the week before Thanksgiving. So more details will be provided when you express your interest. We'll let you know the date and time. It's going to be a matinee, so it will be before 5 p.m. So that may be a little difficult for some returning citizens that work during the day. But we will, of course, work with you on the date and time and let you know when that's going to be. And without further ado, let me show you the 2-minute trailer for Honest Thief starring Liam Neeson.
I've robbed 12 banks in 7 states. I have a little over $9 million in cash. And no one knows who I am.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
I want to turn myself in. I want to make a deal.
What kind of deal?
I hand over all the money I stole in exchange for a reduced sentence. It's important.
And what's so important about it?
I met a woman. I want to be with her for the rest of my life, without lying about my past.
Special Agent Hall, this is Special Agent Evans. Where's the money?
The man is telling the truth.
We can take this money for ourselves.
Let's do it.
Whoa, I'm turning myself in.
FBI, open up. What exactly is going on?
His real name is Thomas Dolan, former Marine, demolitions expert.
He needs to come clean. I'm not a bank robber anymore. With the murder one charged for killing one of their own, the feds will come after me and keep coming. If those 2 crooked cops are willing to kill another agent, what are they capable of doing to you and me? My girlfriend, she had nothing to do with this. Agent Evans, I'm coming for you.
Do what you have to do. blow stuff up. That's pretty cool.
Evans. I want to clear my name, which means I need a full confession from you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready to confess?
All right, Lorenzo, back to you.
Wow, I got so caught up in watching that. I was like, man, I want to see the rest of that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that movie. And again, for anyone that knows someone that is returned and would like to come out and just get a break. And we are being responsible with the social distancing and everything, but it's totally up to you. We'll have more information for that at a later date. But at this point, now I want to—
Lorenzo, I hate to interrupt you, but Dr. Gunay has said that he has to leave for class soon. Can we bump him up and let him go first?
Sure. All right. So right now, I want to bring up Dr. Cengiz Gunay, and he's with Georgia Gwinnett College. Dr. Gunay, are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, yes. Go right ahead.
Should I share my screen or just?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, let me. So I had a couple of slides in here, and thank you very much for Lorenzo and Brandon for having us to speak here. And we're very happy to be part of the GGRA family and for being letting us help you guys. So we've been in partnership with GGRA's on and off since 2017, and we had started a project at that time, and we were helping out for outreach and also like providing some technology support. And I want to just share that, you know, we already talked about this, like last in spring, we created this resource map for GGRA. And the way we do these things, like we actually make these class assignments for GGC students. So the software development students at GGC get to do these as an assignment, at the same time helping out nonprofits and their society. So in spring, they did this for GGRA, and it's still on the website as far as I know, Brandon.
Yep.
And also in spring, they created another interactive map for the Gwinnett area nonprofits. So this was like a similar app, but it was serving other nonprofits in the area. Working on Lawrenceville Co-op Food Bank, and we are building a mobile app for them. And this mobile app is going to help people who need food, who are applying for the food bank, to make appointments, so that when they go there, there's an appointment, they can easily access what they need. With that, I want to just say that we are looking for more nonprofits at this point. And in the spring of 2021, Brandon offered that we can actually help more nonprofits. And if GGRA can help us reach out to other nonprofits, we'll be very interested. Good projects to do. I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Gunay. So the projects that we're talking about, if you are a nonprofit and a reentry service provider and you have a technology need, like maybe it would be great if you could get away from your paper intake forms and do everything online in a portal, something like that. Or you're looking to do a resource map of maybe drop-off locations or safe places or something like that. That's something that the GGC students can help you with. We are going to be looking for a few nonprofits that we can then, almost like Shark Tank style, we'll help you with your pitch. We'll pitch it to the students in the spring semester, and the students will then select which project they want to work on. Kind of like the students are the sharks and you are pitching your idea. And the ones that don't get selected, maybe in the fall, a new batch of students will come around and they'll be interested in helping you with your project. But just start thinking. In our January meeting, we will tell you more information about that, and we'll start with the pitches. But go ahead and email info@GwinnettReentry.org if you are interested in participating in that, and we'll give you more information.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Gunay. Thank you for your time. I know you have to run.
Thank you for having me. I have to run the class.
Pleasure.
Looking forward to hearing more from you guys, both of you and everyone. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And man, that's a wonderful idea to have it set up on the Shark Tank type platform. I think that's awesome. It's a win-win all around, and it gets to help the students out, and then also it helps us out as well. So thank you, sir. All right. All right. So next up, we have two wonderful, awesome people here that I've had the pleasure of getting a chance to know, and they are from the Georgia State Board of Pardons and Parole here to talk about all the things that's going on there, and then also the procedure that it takes if you would like to inquire about a pardon or parole. So first we have Ms. Crystal L. Moon. She's a MS Criminal Justice Critical Analyst Unit Manager for the Clemency Division. And then also along with her, we have Mrs. Kim Patton-Johnson. She's the Assistant Director of the Clemency Division. So ladies, are you there?
Yes, can you hear us?
We can. Go right ahead. It's a pleasure having you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having us. I'll let Kim start.
Actually, I was just going to introduce myself and thank you guys for inviting us to this event. We're always happy to get out into the community with some of our partners and explain what we can, what things we do, especially for those re-entering the community. So, like Lorenzo said, my name is. I've been with the parole board for so long, I don't even want to say the years out loud, but for a very long time. But currently I'm acting directors of the Clemency Division for investigation. So the entire pardon and restoration of rights process falls under our division. And I'll just give Crystal a second before we actually start the presentation herself and explain a little bit about what she does in critical analysis.
So once again, my name is Crystal Moon. I've been with the agency for over 20 plus years. My unit is the critical analysis unit within the Clemency Division, and it kind of sits in both. It dibbles and dabs with investigation along with consideration, but my unit actually does audits, training. We handle all the high profile cases here in Georgia. So anything that involves with the Georgia Department of Corrections, from lifers to mental health to juveniles, any type of high profile case that comes through my unit. So we handle releases. We handle quite a few things. So I'm looking forward to this. And whenever Kim's ready, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen.
Okay, you can go ahead and share and we'll get started.
Okay. Can you all see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Good. Kim, you ready?
Okay, here we go. I'm ready. Okay, so the types of restoration and rights. That though, I wanted to explain about federal convictions. Crystal, is this actually the first slide or is there one with?
No, it's the first slide.
Okay, so I have gone in and done an adjustment. So I just want to know going in that federal convictions cannot be pardoned at the state level. Let me say, without a presidential pardon first. So for the Georgia Parole Board, we cannot consider pardoning anyone already gone through the process and obtained a presidential pardon. And really once
I think she's probably having technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're having problems hearing her audio.
You can hear me fine?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Hopefully, let's see.
She can call in. There's a dial-in number if she'd like.
Okay. Kim, I don't know if Kim, if you can hear us, can you try to log out and log back in?
I can hear you. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, okay, I don't know if there's a connection issues, but that has happened to me a couple of times. Presentation for a second, just give it just a few seconds, come back in. But I was just explaining that a federal or presidential pardon really restores the rights that are lost. So usually in that case, there's no need for a state pardon. Also, for people who have served in the armed forces, you know, if a person was dishonorably discharged.
Hey, you went out there again.
I'm going to see if she can log out and log back in.
Or dial in. There's a phone number she can call. That might be better.
I'm sorry about that. Give me 1 second.
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. Just try to call in, and call in from your phone, and I'll just do the screen sharing. Yep. I think she's trying to dial in now. Sorry about that. I see Brian is on. Hey, Brian.
Hey,
Brian,
how's it going?
This might be a good time, Brian, for you to talk about DCA and the RPH.
I know, right? Thanks, Brian, for me being my lifesaver.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. How are you, Crystal? Nice to see you.
Good.
Hello, everyone. This is Brian DiNapoli. I work with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs and the Reentry Partnership Housing Program. It's a program that provides transitional housing for up to 6 months for returning citizens who do not have a housing plan. So our agency, we partner with Department of Community Supervision, Department of Community, Department of Corrections, and the Council of Accountability Court judges. So if you know of a returning citizen that's homeless under felony supervision, and they need housing, please have them discuss that with their supervising officer, or they can email housing@dcs.ga.gov. So that's an avenue. Our office, we do not make the placements, and we are still currently growing the program. We have about 50 providers statewide. We do not have a provider in Gwinnett, and we really need one in Gwinnett. We're currently reviewing applications from our fall cycle. I'm not certain if we have a potential provider in Gwinnett, but I will keep you posted. And I've also posted some general housing resources in the chat box, some COVID resources. We have resources for food, transportation, housing, jobs, overall services, and also just some general services for people experiencing homelessness. And we have some very good interactive maps on the website that I sent. So I hope that's helpful. Do you need anything else, Brendan?
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Okay, Brendan and Lorenzo, I think Kim is back. So Kim, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you all. Can you all hear me?
Much better, much better. Go right ahead.
Okay, I apologize for that. I don't know what was going on. But okay, I'm ready for this first slide. Did you all hear me about the federal convictions and the dishonorable discharge?
No, start over. I'm sorry.
Okay. I just wanted to say that for federal convictions, the state cannot grant a pardon, and an individual would have to apply for a presidential pardon in the case of someone with a felony conviction. And also, anyone who served in the armed forces but had a dishonorable discharge, is not eligible to apply for a state pardon in Georgia either. But when I say dishonorable, it's just dishonorable discharge. There are other classes of discharge that are eligible. It's just if you have a dishonorable discharge. But at any time, I'm going to give you all some information at the end of the presentation, how to contact us easily to ask any questions that you may have. Okay, but now going to the slides, and I'll try to go slowly, but just stop me if you have a question. I won't be able to see you, but just interrupt or ask Crystal. She may be able to see that someone has a question, or we can just take questions at the end. That's probably the simplest way. And okay, so I'll start with restoration of civil and political rights. That restores the person's right to serve on a jury, run for public office, or become a notary. There's the restoration of pardon, restores your civil and political rights, and also stands as an official forgiveness. When you are granted a pardon or restoration of rights, it is notated on the actual criminal history. And then a pardon exception, we'll go into some of those exceptions closer to the end of the presentation. But, you know, we have few misdemeanor offenses or situations in which a person has a misdemeanor, but would like a pardon for purposes other than, you know, as it would serve as a felony pardon. And then there's the restoration of rights to bear firearms. Okay. Also, I need to let you all know for restoration purposes, for a person, I'm sorry, was there a question?
No, go ahead.
Okay. For restoration of rights for an out-of-state felony, so if a person has a felony in a state other than Georgia, but that person lives in Georgia and they would like to apply for their restoration of rights to carry firearms in Georgia, the parole board can consider that person for restoration of rights for the state of Georgia only. And then at the opposite, a person who has a Georgia conviction but has moved out of state can always apply for a pardon on those Georgia offenses no matter where you live. Okay. All right. The two different types of pardon applications, we have the general pardon application, which will cover most applicants, but if the applicant is a registered sex offender, then we have a more stringent application process, and the application criteria is different. We'll talk about the registered sex offender criteria first. The person applying for a pardon who is a registered sex offender must have completed all sentences 10 years prior to applying. And so that means if the person has some other type of felony offense and a sex offender offense, then they have to wait until it's been 10 years since the offense occurred that caused them to have to be on the sex offender registry. And then that person also has to have a psychosexual evaluation. And on our website, we list approved providers for that. And I'll give you all the website information at the end of the presentation. The person has to have a disclosure polygraph, and that has to be conducted within 90 days of the application. And all of this information is spelled out, you know, in a lot of detail on the actual website that I'll give you. And there's a place to click on there as well to get a vendor to provide the disclosure polygraph. And the person has to provide a current copy of their SORB risk level, and they have to contact SORB for that. They must have lived a law-abiding life for 10 years prior to applying. So law-abiding means that this person has had no contact with law enforcement for 10 years. And a thing that we run into a lot of time with applicants is they will have old arrests on their criminal history where a disposition was never entered by the arresting agency. And for both type of applications, then, you know, that can slow down the process. And what we actually ask the applicant to do is called a time expired restriction. And it says for non-law enforcement purposes. So that means GCIC or the GBI has gone into the criminal history and restricted that particular arrest until a disposition is entered. But for parole board purposes, any arrest that does not have a disposition for us, we consider it to be an open arrest. meaning that some person, no matter how old it is, no matter how old it is, that at some point, you know, that arresting agency could pursue that charge. So we have to have all of those closed out, so to speak, before we can continue with the application process. So in those circumstances, we contact the applicant and say, you have a time expired restriction on your criminal history. Please go back to the arresting agency and ask them to put in a disposition, because we're going to use the date. It just depends. Now we're finding that we may get a time expired restriction on a case that's 20 years old. And then when the applicant goes out, the agency will put that the charge was dismissed, but they'll use the date that they're entering the information. So we take that into consideration. In those cases, we would go back to the actual arresting date. So, but time crime free means the period of time since you completed a sentence and the current time. And I hope I'm not making that too confusing, but it has to be the time that the sentence was completed or closed out. It has to be 10 years from that period of time. Okay, so that's for sex offenders, much more stringent. For a general pardon application, you know, same thing, but 5 years, only 5 years since law enforcement contact, or the completion of all sentences. And the completion of all sentences also includes any probated sentence, and it means that all fines and restitution have been paid. And most importantly, that there are no pending charges. So like I said, I'll give you information at the end of the presentation where if you have a question about something specific, you can write us and we will answer your question. The next slide is it should be House Bill 71. Is that what you all are looking at?
No, I don't think. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so there were some changes in the law in 2015 as a result of House Bill 71. And the importance here is that the law requires that for certain offenses, we notify the district attorney's office when someone applies for a pardon. So, always that we notify the victim. The district attorney has 30 days to provide input, and the victim has 20 days. And you all probably already know, but anytime that the parole board interacts with either a district attorney or a victim, that information is always confidential. But the law tells you, you know, that we will reach out for their input. It was 41 offenses that were defined that we should contact the DA, but with so many offenses, we just made our procedure is, our standard practice is to just notify the district attorney anytime we have any application for any pardon. So that's routine for us. We reach out. If there are registered victims, we contact the registered victim. Okay. Okay. Once the application has been processed, we also are required that if we grant the pardon, then on a case that we contacted the DA on and the DA protested the application, then we have to provide a justification for, and the justifications are general, but we do have to provide a justification for the DA for why we determined that this person was rehabilitated. And there are 7 justifications. One of those 7 is just an other, but basically it shows stability in employment, in residence, you know, that the person has tried to improve their education, the person has been, you know, active in community project or civic work, things of those nature. So they're pretty general, but we have to show our justification for granting that pardon. Okay, we should be moving to restoration of firearm rights. Hopefully that's the slide that you all have. So restoration of firearm rights. If a person has been convicted of a felony, then they have to be crime-free again for 5 years in order to apply for restoration of firearm rights. And once you make application, I should say that this is a long process. I should have said at the beginning, any restoration of rights application process is a very long process, usually lasting between 6 and 9 months. So a person would need to be aware of that it's going to take a while because of the investigation process and all the screening that has to be done to verify, the information on the criminal history. But for all of our types of restoration now, we have a unit of criminal investigators, and the criminal investigators are post-certified officers with special training in investigation techniques, of course, and they are investigating and verifying information on the applications. And one of the things that they do is a face-to-face interview with the applicants. Usually in non-pandemic time, that is conducted in person at the applicant's home by appointment. To work around the pandemic right now, we've been using video platforms for our investigators to conduct those interviews. So they conduct an interview and then they submit a written report to the parole board, and they use that information and any other information that the applicant sent in to help them reach their decision. The applicant also has to have 3 letters of reference, and it has to be clear in those letters of reference from the writer that this person is aware that this person is applying for restoration of firearm rights. They're asked to give a reason why they think this person's firearm rights are restored, and they must also have the writer's name, address, telephone number, and it has to be notarized. So a lot of times the criminal investigators are reaching out to the references to ensure, that the letter is, to validate the letter. Okay. Are you all moving on in your slides to restorations involving exceptions?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, there are exceptions. I don't think I mentioned earlier, restoration of civil and political rights only requires 2 years of, crime-free time. And like I said, that restores your right to run on a jury. To be on a jury or run for elected office. The pardon is inclusive of that. But a lot of times, people want to go ahead and get their rights. So at first they apply after 2 years for restoration of civil and political rights. There's a 2-year time period for that, 5-year for the pardon, but there are situations in where the board may consider waiving that time frame if the applicant, usually that is if the applicant can show that they need to have their rights restored for a particular job in their chosen profession. So with that said, if there's place on the application to explain that, but also some documentation is required for that. And most typically, we would require a person say, if I can't advance in my profession or they won't consider me for the job unless I get a pardon, if the employer is willing to document that, then we use that as justification to bypass the time frame, the waiting period. Okay. Okay, restorations involving exceptions. I mentioned before that a pardon usually is only granted for a person who has a felony conviction, because a felony conviction removes your rights or limits your rights in certain things that misdemeanors don't do that, except for a misdemeanor simple battery involving family violence. And so that is an exception that we make for a firearm applicant, because you do lose your rights if you're convicted of a misdemeanor simple battery with family violence. You lose your firearm rights. So we will consider granting a pardon under that circumstances. But for other misdemeanors, sometimes it will be beneficial to a person who's involved with an adoption process. a person trying to seek Section 8 housing. Truck driver into Canada, a lot of people are required with trucking companies to drive into Canada and have been advised that, you know, they may not do so with a felony conviction. Well, a pardon will help them be able to overcome that particular challenge. We'll consider it for educational purposes. If you have a misdemeanor and you're trying to pursue or improve your education, and a pardon would be beneficial for that, the board will consider it. Employment, which we've already talked about. Immigration, if the federal government does not recognize first offender convictions, and they also consider misdemeanor to be, I think, of a high and aggravated nature. So oftentimes it can be beneficial for a person facing deportation. Now, we will not grant a pardon to prevent deportation, but for an immigrant who is not in custody, who has been given an order to appear for a deportation hearing, you know, that's the time period in which people usually do seek a pardon. So we can't grant it if the deportation order has been issued, but if a person has just been given a hearing notice to come to court regarding a deportation, then there's a window there where they probably could apply for a pardon. So those get really kind of technical and difficult, but like I said, I'll give you a web address where you can write to us if you have questions about that particular situation. And then a person who's applying for a law enforcement training through POST, Peace Officer Standard and Training Council of Georgia, then oftentimes a pardon may be beneficial to that person, or it may allow them, you know, to be accepted into post training. So those are really, that's just an overview of how the pardon process, but I would be glad to take any questions. And then after the questions, if there are any, then I'll give you some contact information, a way to get your questions answered if you need some answers at some point in the future.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much just for explaining that, because, you know, it can get very confusing. Please give us that information on, you know, how we can contact you if we have any further questions. For the sake of time, we won't entertain any questions at this particular time.
Okay. We can be, if you can go to our website at pap.ga.gov and then go to the Pardon Parole Consideration tab, and then down to Pardon and Restoration of Rights. All of the information, or almost all of the information, is laid out there in detail. But, you know, oftentimes, like you said, it is a complex or complicated process. If you have questions, then we have a webmaster address, and you can write and you'll get an answer probably in 24 hours during the week. The web address for that is pardon.inquiries@pap.ga.gov.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Patton-Johnson, and also Mrs. Moon, for coming on. We really appreciate all that you share with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
I apologize for the technical difficulties on my end.
No problem. Those things happen. So thank you guys so much. Now, next, we want to bring up another friend of GGRA, Mr. Ron Gauthier. I hope I said that right, from the Gwinnett County Public Library.
That was close enough. It's good.
I practiced too, Ron. I tried.
That's okay. That's okay. Even the folks down in Louisiana can't get it. Isn't that amazing?
I'm going to get it one day. All right. Well, go right ahead, sir.
Okay. So let me tell you briefly about a really unique program we have out. Some of you are aware. Some of you may not know. So I want to share this information. It is called the New Start Entrepreneurship Incubator Program. So I'll tell you how it started. We applied for a grant, the library. We applied for a grant with the American Library Association and also Google, the great Google. So we did get a grant, and it specified that we put together a training program for entrepreneurs, a walkthrough. We had to talk a disadvantaged population, and we decided to design this program specifically for returning citizens, because many of them, when they return into the community, we say they have a second chance. Sometimes it looks more like a second sentence. So what we want to do with this program is give them a chance to get through a program that can empower them to start their own businesses and avoid a lot of that pernicious prejudice that sort of surrounds them. And that enacts really a social and economic death almost for many people. So the way the program works is this. I'll give you an address to the website where they can fill out the application. We'll be reviewing those soon. The application will open, and we will actually close the application process on the 14th of next week. So we have 4 applicants so far. What we're looking for is many, many more. The program will be 6 months. It requires that the applicant is serious about this. It's a great program. They will be matched with a mentor, and the mentor is someone who actually owns a small business of some type. We will also provide instruction, online instruction, then eventually, hopefully we'll have it in person. They will also have, while the time they're enrolled in the program, a laptop and even a hotspot. So if there's no way to get into that access, we'll provide that for them. So it has a lot of benefits. We think it could be very, very successful. We think we can get men and women coming from the prisons to acquire these skills, to start their own businesses, and then work for themselves. And that's the answer to me to get around that pernicious prejudice that always just blocks them from getting jobs. So what we need right now is this. We need you to get the word out. We need more applicants. We have 4 so far. We're closing the application process next week on the 14th. So I want to get it out to as many of your organizations as I can. What we will do is in the chat box, I'll leave you the email address. Everything's laid out on the website, and I'll give you my contact information also. You can come to me directly, and what's great is I can give you as much information as you like, but we like to help as many people as we possibly can. Adam, do you need to add anything?
Hi, Adam Pitts here. I'm with the Lawrenceville Branch Library, and I'm also on the this project. And I think Ron covered everything, really. I just want to underscore this is exclusively for the returning citizen population. The curriculum, the coursework was tailored specifically to them, for them. So we have this first cohort that'll begin in January, and then we'll offer this again, a second cohort about mid-year, midway through 2021, and we'll have a second round of applications. So if somebody can't make it for this one, then perhaps they can later in next year. But yeah, we 4 applicants so far, so we're hoping to get some more. So yeah, if you can help us get the word out, we would very much appreciate that.
The unique program too. I don't think there's any other like this at any library system in the nation. So this is big, but we know our populations. We know what we need to do to get special services to them. So we're super excited about this. We want it to be successful. We want them to be successful. So definitely get back to us with as many applicants as we can.
Wow. Wow. I mean, wow, that's amazing. You know, I've heard it a couple of times before, but I tell you, I mean, it's just a wonderful thing that you guys are doing down there. And we want to help in any way that we can. If everyone that heard what Ron said, and also Mr. Pitts, please find some deserving candidates to send their way, because I mean, this program is a given, is given to them to help them level the playing field in the marketplace. So thank you. Yes. Anything else, gentlemen, that you wanted to add, or? Okay. All right. Well, guys, I apologize that we are running over just a little bit, but I'm sure you'll agree that the information was well worth it. If you can stay around just for a few minutes more, we just want to talk about what's coming up with our Better Chance Symposium that's coming up. I want to apologize. I put it in as Second Chance, but no, it's actually called the Better Chance Symposium. And this is the one that's coming up in April of 2021. And so I want to talk about that for a minute. What I wanted to do, first of all, is to introduce our keynote. There you go. Thank you, sir. I wanted to introduce our keynote speaker for this upcoming symposium. Brenda, you have that? There you go. I want to introduce Pastor Tony Loudon. Tony is the Executive Director of the Federal Interagency Council on Crime Prevention and Improving Reentry in the White House. He was actually appointed by our president right now to be, and what he's also affectionately called is the Reentry Czar. And Tony is doing wonderful things in the White House for the area of reentry, and he's going to be our keynote speaker. And so I just wanted to let you know who we have lined up, but then also we really, really need your help, because this year we are going to go totally virtual on this symposium. And although it wouldn't be as tedious as it normally would be doing it in person, it's still gonna take up some time and effort. And so we really need someone, our partners and our members, to come and help us. Well, members, I don't mean partners, but members, to help out putting this wonderful symposium together. And so Rachel Adele, Rachel, are you on? Okay, well, Rachel is the chair for the symposium, the committee, and we really need you to sign up for it. And Brendan has just put information up to do so. And there it is right now. You can go to that URL, and it's the Better Chance Committee. We really need help in doing that. And I'm going to reach out to some of you personally to talk to and encourage you also to be a part of this. We need to do this as a group. One person can't do it all. Two people cannot do it all. We really need your help to make this the best that we can. And it's all for encouraging our returned citizens. And that's what we're all about here at GGRA, helping those that are still incarcerated, and then also helping those that have come out, returned back into our communities. We want to help them not get that second chance. We want to help them with that better chance. And we want to really put this together because it honors them. And then also for our partners that's out there, if you know of some deserving returned citizens that are doing wonderful jobs out here in the communities and also in the marketplace, that you would love for them for a chance to be honored, we're looking for honorees that we can honor. So if you have any nominations, please bring them forth to us so that we can consider nominating them for an award just for all the hard work that they've done. I mean, that's what it's all about. We want to encourage and uplift. So again, go to that URL at Better Chance Committee. It's right there on the screen. Just do that, and we'll get with you on more specific information, but we really, really need your help. So with that, let's see, do I have anything else? Oh yeah, so right now, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about, you can go ahead on and raise your hand, and we'll get you up to answer your question. Then also, this is a segment that we have that says, have a need, meet a need. You know, we do this at the end of every luncheon. And so if anyone that you know has a need, let us know, bring it out there. We have wonderful people on this call right now that may be able to help them in exactly what it is that they need. So at this point, at this time, does anybody have any questions, or does anybody have a need that needs to be met? Amen. Let's see. All right.
Sorry to interrupt. I have a need, if that's okay.
Go right ahead, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Sorry again for interrupting you. My name's Joey Nichols. I'm with an emerging nonprofit called Uplift Your Life. We are in Buford. We just started a few months ago, but we have a mission similar to the awesome entrepreneurial program that Mr. Gauthier was talking about. We aim to help people in recovery from substance abuse and mental health challenges. We got a grant from Gwinnett County recently to help people prevent homelessness. Somebody else was mentioning it in the chat box. We're running a GoFundMe as well. So what I really need is just to get connected with you guys to help out however I can and start spreading the word about what we're doing, get connected with people that we can help with rent, utilities. And I just want to be a player in this and reach as many people as possible and make an impact in the community. So I figured this was a good opportunity to introduce myself to all of you guys.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Joey, for what you're doing. And also what I need you to do now, because this is going to be recorded. Well, it is being recorded, and it will be able to be seen from here on out. So I want you to audibly give your contact information and then also put it in the chat room.
Awesome. Yes. So my contact information, our website is www.upliftyourlifenow.org. And the email is urock@upliftyourlifenow.org.
Great.
And I'll put that in the chat box.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Anyone else? We're running a little bit behind, but if anyone else has anything that they have a need for?
I believe Lizanius had his hand raised.
Oh, did he? Okay, I'm sorry. Go right ahead, sir.
All right. I just wanted to just again thank you guys for putting this comprehensive display on. I mean, it's just I mean, I've said, well, I'm lost for words. Normally, if you know me, not a loss for words, but I just never knew anybody cared like this. I mean, it's mind-boggling, you know. I mean, especially with the pardons and getting people to restore their rights and things of this nature is in this setting and in Georgia, it was just mind blowing. I mean, I'm just being perfectly honest with you. I'm at a loss for words, and I just really thank you guys for really doing this work, because I know how hard this work is. I mean, I know the pitfalls and the stumbling blocks that come along with it. You know what I mean? It's not all good the way you present it, and the way that you present it, you guys are just, you know, I know that your heart's in it, because it is hard work. It's hard work. You know, people coming out from incarceration, having all types of needs and things of that nature, and being able to meet those needs within the construction of the criminal justice system and society and the way people are perceived. So, I mean, this is just a wonderful work that you guys do.
Well, amen. You know, I felt the same way when I first came across GGRA, you know, a couple of years ago, and you know, I never left. So what I need you to do again is go to our website and just poke around and look at everything that you know we have on there. You know who we are and everyone that's involved, and you know, leave us your contact information, and we'd be glad to get back with you and talk with you one-on-one. I'll be glad to speak with you off camera.
Okay, that's fine. How do I get in contact with you? That's the whole deal. How do I get in contact with you?
Well,
I know the website Gwinnett Reentry Alliance, but you personally.
Lorenzo at Gwinnett reentry.org.
.org. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, thank you guys so much. This is our last luncheon for the year. Anyone from our executive committee, is anything that you would like to say before we sign off?
I just want to say thank you to everyone for bearing with us through Zoom. I think since April, we've been on this Zoom platform, and we've had our ups and downs with the technology, but I think we're all getting used to Zoom and how it's not perfect. Doesn't beat being there shaking hands with everyone, but this is the next best thing. So going forward into 2021, we're kind of exploring some ideas of breakout rooms and ways that we can kind of bring back the social aspect, because we're very much aware that you want to get back to the networking and the social community that GGRA is all about. I mean, that's why we were founded, so that the reentry providers could all talk to one another, and we're looking for ways to get back to that.
Well said, well said. Taylor, Ms. Antoinette, anything that you would like to share before we sign off?
No, just thank everyone for coming and participating and being patient with us.
Okay. All right. Well, again, everyone, thank you so much just for being with us and staying on a little longer. I really appreciate your hearts. We love you guys and everything that you stand for. And it's our pleasure to humbly come alongside of you to help in this fight of reentry. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and week. And we will speak with you at a later date. Good afternoon.